Hey Wanderers,
I'm Amanda.
and I'm Ron.
Welcome to Wanderlust.
Let's see if things really are bigger in Texas.
So we are moving to Texas. And I know if you've seen any of our videos in the past, I don't know, couple months, you know that we're moving to Texas. We thought we would just take a little time today and daydream about the things that we want to see in Texas, specifically as a tourist and an adventurer. So we're not talking about hikes, which I know a ton of our videos recently have been hikes, and we definitely will have a video coming out soon about specific Texas hikes that we want to take. But for right now, we're just going to talk about being a tourist in San Antonio.
So I've been to San Antonio a couple times. I've been on TDY, as we talked about, temporary duty, for a couple different things down there. I've been down there for a conference, been down there for a class at one of the bases in San Antonio. So I'm looking forward to going back and having time to do things that I wasn't able to do, over the course of a couple of days. I have been down on the Riverwalk. I think that's the first thing I look forward to us going and doing is doing that with time to really explore it.
Right.
And check it out. I think they do a river, like a dinner cruise on the river that goes through.
I think the last time we did a dinner cruise was for our honeymoon.
I think so.
Yeah.
In
So that was a long time ago.
So that's one of what I'm looking for is to have time to soak in San Antonio, because I've been down there, I've seen some of the things, I've been to the Alamo, but it was a part of a big group and didn't have time to really soak it in. And so I'm looking forward to be able to be steeped in San Antonio.
Yeah, I think I am too. We did a vacation. He didn't get to go. He was TDY somewhere else. When our oldest was a little baby, the second kid wasn't even born yet. So it was a long time ago. And we just went on like a short, probably 4 or 5 day trip. And we spent 1 or 2 full days in San Antonio. And so we did the Alamo, but I did the Alamo with a toddler, which I feel like you don't ever get to explore a place the way you want to if you have a toddler with you. And then we did the San Antonio Zoo, which was where I realized that I was super terrified of birds. I mean, I already kind of knew it, but then you get yourself enclosed in an area with nothing but birds, and you quickly realize, or I quickly realized, that it was terrifying. But one of the main sources, or where we're going to get a lot of our list, like I'm not calling it a bucket list, but it kind of is like our Texas list. Like when we live in San Antonio.
So it's more like a buffet list.
Right. When we live in San Antonio, what things do we want to do? We generally know that when we move somewhere, we're going to have 3 years that we can count on, usually, to be able to explore and go see things. Now, we had 3 years here, and had we waited until the last 2 years to go do things, we've lost almost all of this 3rd year because of the quarantine.
At least the last half, the last 6 months.
Yeah, for sure. So we just want to make sure that as soon as things are open, and as soon as they're safely open, let me say that.
This is Texas we're talking about.
Right. As soon as things are safely open, then we're going to be out there. We want to explore. We want to see as much of it as we can. And so you want to explore San Antonio and really get into San Antonio. I want to really explore Texas and actually that whole region down there. And what better way to do that than with my passport book? So what this is this is a map of the Southwest region. And so here, of course, is Texas, but it includes Louisiana, Arkansas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Texas, this whole region. And this page right here gives us a list of everything in all of those states. So everything that is a national monument. There's even a national river, which until now, I didn't even know that was a thing. There's national historic sites. There are national historic places and parks and all kinds of stuff that we can go see on this list. So what I really want to have happen is when we move from here, I want to have every one of these checked off of this list. So far, we've checked off 2. They're both in Arkansas, and we saw those on our on one of our visits when we went home. We stopped through both of those locations. So I really want to work on these. Now what I did was I went to this map here. This is where we're going to be in San Antonio. And I thought, okay, how far to the furthest one this way? And how far to this one up here? And how far to this one up here? So I kind of looked at those 3 locations. So it looks like these Aztec Ruins National Monument in New Mexico will be our furthest away at about a 14-hour drive. I made a little note for myself out here. And so that will definitely need to be a few days trip that we drive out there and then we spend a few days exploring in New Mexico. But there's a lot of stuff to see and a lot of stuff to do. I mean, you can see how many are on here. I didn't count them, but all of these is plenty of things for us to see. And we're actually going to get to mark off one of them on our way moving to San Antonio. We're going to go to this Flint quarries right here and get to mark that off as we move down. So by the time we get there, I will already have a couple of them marked off. And then that is my main goal for the next 2 to 3 years that we're there, is to get as much of this done as possible, while also exploring Texas in general.
So one of the things I'm looking forward to is that we've loved South Dakota, but it's not exactly a hotbed of things that come in to do. So you're talking concerts, you're talking, things of that nature, other than around the rally, which is its own thing that we're not a part of. You don't get a lot. I mean, generally most things come to the other side of state to Sioux Falls. So right. I'm looking forward to being down in San Antonio, because you're within driving distance to Dallas, Houston, all those things. So there'll be a lot more things to have the opportunity to go and do, whether it's concerts coming through, shows coming through, conventions. So whether you're talking South by Southwest, you're talking about any kind of Comic-Con, those sorts of things. Those are all really difficult to do where we've been in South Dakota, because nothing really comes here very big. So I'm looking forward to that and having all those things be something where we don't have to make a trip to go do that kind of thing. It's just here. Right. And we're going to go across town and have a good time.
Yeah, we're really looking forward also to Fiesta Six Flags is less than 30 minutes from our house. So I'm looking forward to that, especially for the boys. I think they would really like that. And I don't know, there's just so many. Like, I went to the San Antonio tourist website, just like the tourism guide kind of thing, and I was overwhelmed when I clicked on things to do, like just the number of things to do. So another one of our goals when we're there is that we want to go on TripAdvisor. I don't know if you know it, but it has like a top 10 things to do, a top 10 restaurants to eat in, a top 10, like it has everything. And it's all ranked based on people's reviews and recommendations. And so I really want us to do a series where we go eat at the top 10 restaurants in San Antonio, or
I'm down for that.
Or we go see the top 10 things to do in San Antonio based on people's TripAdvisor recommendations. So, I mean, we have so many ideas, and we're so excited about just a new area to explore and more things to go and do and new experiences to have. And I feel like we've learned so much here about the native cultures that I didn't know anything about before, and now just a little bit of San Antonio that I've been studying about before we moved there. It's a completely different kind of native culture that was around that area, especially into the New Mexico area and the western side of Texas. And then just the history with Mexico and the Spanish and all of that stuff is all wrapped into what I think is going to be a fun package to jump into.
And also, aliens. Right that far from Roswell.
Oh my God. Yes, we will be going to Roswell. I have not told the boys yet that Roswell is not far away.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I think the other thing is also hopefully some of our friends and people can travel easier to be a part of what we're doing down there and have some fun. Again, Rapid City's been great, but it's really hard to get there from here.
The airport is not accessible from
Yes.
a lot of locations.
So that's made that difficult, and so
Yeah.
San Antonio, you've got a much bigger metropolitan area,
Right.
so that should be easier, and people want to come down and do things, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and we're closer to where we grew up, so our families will be able to come visit easier. And so hopefully our adventures, if you keep following us, will have guests occasionally
Yeah.
that will pop up.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to Texas. We think things will be bigger there, and at least our videos will get bigger. So we're glad to have you along for the ride. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
You know you didn't say anything about the Cowboys.
Thought that was obvious. I mean, you know.
Okay. And we're going to see some Dallas Cowboys stuff.
Yes. Got to go to Jerry World.